Oh, hey, folks. Welcome to Frater versus Retro. Fortunately, I'm not really set up to Sir Gregory Peck on the trials yet. Um, that is probably going to be later down the line on the show. We're going to do Icewind Dale today, and then do more with the next couple of shows are devoted to doing Witcher 2, which is just coming out. And hopefully, we trying to figure out some of these shenanigans here. Kind of stuck in 20. My name is Frater SH, and presently stuck in the year 2011. What happened is me and Pukapi Adams went through a portal to get out of the current cyber matrix that Mr. Pennypacker and the Dark Milo had put us into, and now we're somewhere back in time, and it's been very awkward, actually. I could be honest with you, and trying to basically deal with Peter Graves and Gregory Peck and all the issues that the show is facing. And well, we'll get on to doing Action 52. Well, now we are playing Action 52, and we are playing the game Thruster Busters, and where you're a little penis and a little penis fighting spaceships. The guy, you serious? This is getting painful. I mean, and then if you try to really fight anything, they kill you right instantly, man. Like this is terrible. You want to fight things because then that actually gives you something to do. Otherwise, it's just like, look, every time an enemy comes towards you, I could just go to the right or left and just not interact with them. I could do that if you want. This is absolute garbage. I at least think the game, the last show was absolutely hilarious and funny. That was good, actually. Okay. That's fine. That was Thruster Busters. Thruster Busters. Thruster Busters. We got those Thruster Busters. Yeah, Thruster Busters. And now it's time for the Power Glove Congress. What's that sound outside? Hey, Frater. Yeah, they're fighting outside. Oh, great. Then we went a couple episodes without them fighting, and now they're fighting again. This is the glory days of the glory years of the Frater versus Retro. Yeah, before Dark Milo, but it's some kind of containment or something. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what happened with that, but yeah. Well, it sounds very vocal out there. Very, 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 very vocal. Well, that voice you just did, that reminded me of somebody. Yeah, he really owes me large, Frater. I know. It makes you wonder what Pierre Molyneux was doing in 2011, actually. I don't know. So the Power Power Glove Congress today is me and Pooh Guppy Adams here, and our the other two, Gregory Peck and that sound you hearing is them fighting outside. This stupid double wide doesn't like. This stupid double wide doesn't cover out all the sounds, I'm afraid. So that's your Power Glove Congress for the day. It's just two old men fighting outside, and this is supposed to be a video game review show, and we're just really we're just struggling to even get through this. So, Frater, have you figured anything out yet? Like, are we gonna go back to our original home or anything? I have no idea. Actually, I'm trying to come up with theories. And did you ever think of the fact that maybe we never really left that Matrix? You're asking me to think or something? No, yeah, that's true. You don't really think. Yeah, see, the problem is like, there's a very distinctive possibility if you really actually sit down and actually think about it. If we were in a computer matrix, how the hell would you leave the computer? That's a good point. Yeah, I mean, so technically, we're still in it. And in fact, we're probably in a worse situation now. Because now we're just in some kind of how do we not know Mr. Pennypacker didn't make this? And he was just, this is sort of a trick to kind of get us out of the way or something like that, So. They're still fighting outside. There's a lot of finger pointing going on right now. Oh no! You never, never. You don't understand what you're facing right now. You don't understand. Okay. Well, let me yell out the window. Gregory, we're going to play the game now. All right, I'm coming in. Okay. Well, here we go. Oh, here we are again. And, still waiting on Gregory Peck. Okay, I hear the door slam. He's coming in. He's totally out of left field, Frater. How dare he? He didn't come in. What happened? Well, what happened was just basically, once you started the game, I kinda duct taped him to his moped and I just turn on the accelerator and he's gone off somewhere. What? What? Oh no. And we already have a dead party member. See, this is what happens when you have very, very thin, weak characters. Because they're just gonna die and die and die. And actually, this is probably before. What you're seeing here is before I figure out, well, I started to learn about scripts. And then another thing that started to happen is I didn't realize there's an option I can actually choose where they'll rest until healed. So that instead of constantly clicking that button, and literally it's a very failing game because wow, I just know that Peter Graves, he's just off the wall, Frater. He's just he's just asking. He's just asking for trouble. Well, I guess he is, but that's content, you know. Well, I guess it is. So here we are again. So we're in this cave and dealing with a very weak party. You know, one of the party members has got about like I think about 1 hit point left. For we have to either reload the game or what, you know. And I guess you can go back to the temple and you can kind of refill their lives and stuff like that. But you know, there's not a lot you can do with a weak party. You just gotta start over. You know, I don't know how many times I gotta talk about party mechanics and RPG mechanics and stuff. I think the last 2 episodes it was a very overkill on that. Yeah. You know, I am afraid to say we didn't have any casual viewers on that one. They're like, what? Yeah, it's like, who's got time for that? You know, who's got time for that? And that's actually a very good point, you know. But someone who's in the Dungeons and Dragons, you know, that's like, it's like, yeah, you know, they really get into that shit, you know. So, you know, you try to do your best you can. You see, this is before I realized, you know, that you have to actually hit an option that allows your character to fully heal unrest. Otherwise, as you see, Pooh Guppy Adams just recovered about 5 health, which does not help us. Actually, I think I no, I think you know what he may have actually just recovered 2 points. That's a little bit crazy. That's very crazy, actually. That's very crazy strict. But that's reality. Yeah, that's pretty much reality, man. That's you know when you know, and another thing is, I know person think I'm nuts. And of course you got the stuttery looking screen. I recommend folks once again, like last episode. I wouldn't I wouldn't be um I wouldn't be watching this in full screen unless you got a vomit bucket. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, Boo Guppy died. Frater, you got the vomit bucket. Okay, just kicked it over to you, man. Oh no. Oh no. Well, that's ironic. Pooh Guppy died at the same time his character in the game died. This is really nuts, Frater. It's because that's what happens when you make a thief. Thieves don't last long in these games. That's why you. And even though you could say, well, he's a thief fighter, and yeah, that gives him maybe a few extra hit points and some. He gives him some stuff, but he needs to be really high on uh, strength, or he's just gonna get whooped. I'll let you know, man, that like this is actually a very embarrassing playthrough because after I was watching some people who have a lot of experience playing this, and I went, "Oh my god!" and this is embarrassing. So, yeah, it's just like let's just watch these guys get slaughtered. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So, what was that original argument about? Well, he was arguing that my Studebaker is a waste of space and that a moped is a much more dominant and better vehicle. Frater, he's out of line. And I got out of my Studebaker and I said, hey, dickweed. And he's like, what do you mean, dickweed? Your vehicle is just crap. Uh-oh. Yeah, uh-oh, Frater. You don't say that to me about my Studebaker, my beloved Studebaker. You're gonna get something. Yeah, you're gonna get something very big, yeah. So, yeah, and then I just made fun of him and his little moped there, and he's like really mouthing off to me, and I showed, and and of course you said to get in and play the game. You went in, and of course what you didn't see is I duct taped him right to that moped, and then I did basically had his foot on that accelerator and vroom, there he went. And I went, well, have fun on your moped. It's the dominant vehicle on the road. You get to kind of just drive on that thing as long as you want, Jimmy. Oh, oh boy. So, well, now that happened. Yeah, that did happen. Yeah. Does Pook Uppy Adams? Is there any status report on how he's doing? Wow, he's sort of hunched over that bucket. He's just like kind of just mumbling, and Frater, watching this is really kind of painful. It's all stuttery and stuff, and it's making Pook Uppy Adams throw up. I really think you need to be a little more careful with this kind of stuff. So, I know. It's really out of line. It's very out of line. And your team is very weak. It's like you have 4 weak characters and only 2 strong characters. But even those 2 characters don't have like the greatest amount of hit points either. So they're just going to get walloped. And then the other guys are just like, I know. I thought having a thief fighter would be the solution, and he can't even lockpick. I don't even know how some of these, like there's this one guy I was watching, and he made a thief fighter, and he was able to lockpick, and I was like, it is not even giving me the option to lockpick. Like it didn't even give me that as a skill that I can raise. Like I was like, what? Why? All I can think is maybe I put too much into something else. I don't know. Maybe your charisma, strength, and all that. And yeah. So you said that starting next show you're gonna play Witcher 2, and yeah, we'll start playing that. I don't think the combat is as good as this, and no, I think we'll play Witcher 1 first, because Witcher 2 comes out I think like next month or something. I thought it would be best to play the first game. That way then, everyone at home gets to see it, But, Frater, yeah. I gotta ask something, yeah. Are you playing that, or is it somebody else? Well, Frater, Well, it's I'm not very good at those games, and it might actually be way, 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 way better if actually Witcher 2 comes out in May. I'm sorry. Yeah. Ah, well there you go. But yeah, okay. So yeah, no one's really watching, so it's like they wouldn't notice the difference. Are you not a fan of those games? Or they have a good story. They have good story, but the combat I don't really like. Okay, well, you said those games. I'm confused because the second one hasn't come out yet, Frater. You know, this is 2011. Um, this is Ask Puguppy. What? Puguppy. Oh, he looked at the screen for a second. Oh, he's throwing up again. Frater. Oh, ribbit, 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 ribbit. Ah, 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 ah. Okay, so very gradually here. Well, I should say not so gradually. This is a terrible play for Frater. That team is just getting pounded. I mean, and then that's before I understood that there is a mode that I need to hit where they'll fully heal. They'll actually fully heal though. Uh, on rest. Right now, I'm on a mode where it doesn't allow me to do that. It's just based on RNG. So, like, you'll do a rest, the RNG will do a roll, and they'll say, well, Gregory Peck recovers 2 hit points. So, all that time is wasted, and then you still could have monsters regenerate, and you can still, the RNG is rolling to decide if there's going to be monsters there when you wake up, and oh, it's really bad. And that's the nature of this game. This game will kick your butt if you don't make a proper team. And I know somebody could say, well, you need to have a healer. Well, eventually I had to just, you either have to just keep resting, rest scumming, and that's the way I do it. I have to do that or just carry lots of potions, and I carry lots of potions. So, yep, that's how you do it. And I had a character just die. Welcome to the world of Icewind Dale. So, so I got a question. You think Peter Graves' moped will just run out of gas eventually, and it'll just kind of come to a nice stop? And I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure. You're really out of control, man. I mean, you just, that's one of, that's the power of Glove Congress. I mean, you do realize, right, that anything happens to Peter Graves, the only one to replace him is IG-88. Oh, no. Yeah, he doesn't talk. That's right. Our fourth member doesn't talk. And then our third member, well, I don't know if I would exactly call that talking. I mean, yeah, I mean, sometimes Pukapi Adams doesn't really say much of anything. Sometimes he just talks about, random objects, or random shenanigans. And, don't get me wrong, it's comedy relief, but, good luck if you want him to actually talk about, like, game mechanics or something. A lot of times I'm the one doing all this. Sometimes I get surprised. You do actually sometimes, Gregory Peck, do actually kind of talk about this stuff, which is good. I play games here and there. Yeah, but you don't talk about that ColecoVision all the time. Do you really even play that? Why are you just with all the questions? Wait, are you telling me that it's just a gimmick? You mean that all this time you don't really play ColecoVision, right? I mean, I've not had a ColecoVision since I was like in like sixth grade, for crying out, which is like back in the early '90s, for crying out loud, man. I had one. My dad had a friend who had one in a garage, and he let me have it, and then I gave it to a friend of mine. So then I think what I remember was, and this shows Gregory Peck how long this is. In the early days in the internet, I bought a refurbished, almost brand new ColecoVision. Oh, you did? Yeah. Yeah. What happened was there was a website, and I literally just remembered this now because I just always assumed that, you know, I had this ColecoVision. I gave it to a friend, but I think it was another point in time I finally got another one, and that was a what it was is there was a guy apparently that had bought up like a lot of old ColecoVision parts. Like there were like stock parts, and he put them in a warehouse and was able to sell people totally almost like brand new ColecoVisions, which was really quite wild. And I think it was in the early 2000s. I went on that website and I bought a ColecoVision. So, but then I ended up pretty much selling it on eBay probably years later because as a system, it takes up a lot of room. It's a really big system. It's probably the best system around. Yeah, but see, the thing is, Gregory Peck is like, I just question now. Now this is where things go really wrong. This is where essentially dreams are ended. this is where this is where it all goes wrong, and you see characters dying like you wouldn't believe, and loading game, and then that's when I came to the realization this party cannot, I repeat, cannot do this. It cannot do this. It cannot. It is too weak on hit points, and these characters just die out, and I'm trying to figure something out here, and it's just these characters are so damn weak. So, okay. so pretty much what I was saying is like it's just like you talk about all the time, but you don't exactly like shown any proof that you do actually play ColecoVision, and it's just that's why like we're talking about the members of the Power Glove Congress, and the one thing about Peter Graves is at least like we were talking about Street Fighter 2 the other day, and he pulls up Wikipedia and starts talking about it, but at least he's like providing facts. He's probably providing, well, it's Wikipedia, but he's providing somewhat close entries to what what about the game we're talking about. So the point I'm saying is to you, like, I need people on the show that maybe can like talk about video games. I do talk about them. Yeah, but then you're all into like, I want to be the host. Well, I can't. Well, and I'm kind of like, you do realize, right, that you're. Oh boy, Frater Heck Group is not very efficient. Frater Pukapi Adams practically got all his hit points taken out with one hit. He's so weak. I know. And by the way, he's still like by that bucket, and he just died. I know. So, like I said, so that's the idea I have about training you at least at the 3 games I mentioned, because I consider those games to be like, absolutely 100% skill, and at least so that there's someone else on the show that kind of gets an idea of this. So, like I said, I didn't have the time today to do it, because just, I just came up with this idea. So I got to get the games together. I got to get, we got to kind of work on that. Okay. But like I said, really, like, you're getting rid of Power Glove member Congress, people of the Power Glove Congress. Is it going to come to a day when IG88 is going to be the one hosting the show? Oh no, yeah, it's just going to be, you're going to hear the Frater SH theme song. There's a picture of IG88 for about an hour, and then that's it. Frater, I'm getting a bad feeling you're actually thinking of doing that. I actually think that would be funny. At least, well, I would think it would be funny. Someone else would probably be like, "What the hell is this?" But it's just the point is like that would be funny. That would be a funny theme of a show, like where all the members like start fighting each other, and then everyone's hurt. So everyone's too hurt for the next show. So then then so then the only member left is IG88. He wasn't in the fight, so you know that's actually a funny idea. The only problem is that would kind of throw off my ideas, about probably what way that would have to work is you would have to have like the real episode be like right after it on the same day, just to be kind of like we're just joking. But no, So are we doing the IG88 thing every show? We used to. Yeah, the old show from the year before, we were doing that every show. But yeah, Frater, this is terrible. I'm going to let you know the next half hour is absolutely just being butt kicked. It is, yeah. We're just going to get butt kicked. So here we go. Let's see. So like I was saying here, well, Frater, be careful there, man. just be real careful here, like, we'll see. We got rest up here, man. Like, that's why I'm running here. See if maybe possibly I can go back to town or something, and try to. Frater is just team shocks. It's just absolutely shocks. Yeah, it's really pretty bad team. I mean, like you can see here, I'm trying to see maybe if I can go back to town, and I think it was because I knew that maybe there was some experience points I can get from some lower quests. So maybe I thought, well, if I can at least level, this is the thing that's embarrassing is, you'd think after all we just went through that we can level up. And once I told you, no, we actually can't physically level up. We're still stuck at level 1. So that's why I kind of thought, well, if we can get those big experience points, that we could at least get out of level 1, and at least maybe that might up our hit points a little bit. But you'll just find that this was not the right party, and so everyone's pretty much healed. Yeah. So, like, again, like, I'll talk about this one more time about team management in RPGs and stuff. So that's a good little lecture you gave on just RPG mechanics and stuff. So, so, wait, do you think you could have cut this part? Yeah, but I don't know. I like doing this kind of RPG stuff, Mr. Gregory Pack, and it's this good old stuff. Ah, yeah, it's a good belch. Yeah, it was. Do you really think we should allow him to talk during the game? Frater, really, honestly, I really no. Well, he's the comedy relief, Mr. Peck. Well, I know he's the comedy relief. I'm a pretty funny guy myself, but I don't know. He's just so old over the place. Yeah, you got your killer choices here. Understand you, Frater, you're dealing with a character it's about as big as your pinky on the screen, and like, I don't know if you can be like, well, I gotta scrap everything. I picked the wrong Keller, guys. Yeah, you gotta choose what he sounds like, because in this game you're gonna be hearing the same voice over and over and over. Well, that's very true, actually. I remember, it's speaking of old PC games where, like, you would hear the same voice over and over and over and stuff. And like, Age of Empires, there's times where I'll even, I used to in my head, I used to go, yes, yes. Because, because, like, because there was always this one woman, I would always direct her to do, like, go gather this and go gather that, and doing some resource management. And she would always go, yes, 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 and my brain, there you go, you're making me, yep. And, and I used to, yeah, a lot of those voices and stuff. I mean, that stuff gets ingrained in your freaking brain, dude. Like, here we go, picking everybody out here, and That's the way it goes, you know. We just This is a very long. I apologize because it really is very long. It's very long in the tooth, and and it's this is not actually very good for This is only segment is only good if you're going to be actually like playing the game yourself. Because this, I'm going to kind of warn you about Icewind Dale. Icewind Dale it will absolutely throw you down the stairs. In fact, in many ways, it'll take you back up the stairs and do it again and throw you back down the stairs. Oh, you mean when I threw down Peter Graves down the stairs? That was awful. That is quite awful. You're a terrible man. Well, thank you for the compliment. That is a wonderful compliment. I love to be known as the one that you should fear. Well, that's terrible, but okay. But and here is alignment, and well, the problem is if I had chose you as like chaotic evil, then it would probably be like it would probably the problem is then the character won't work well with the other characters, and very possibly maybe even the character could turn on the rest of the party, which in this game you got a lot to deal with. Okay, you want everyone on the same page, so either they're neutral good or lawful good or something. They have to be on the same page because my lord, this is Dungeons and Dragons at its heart, dude. I mean, I know a lot of people when they bring up the BioWare Dungeons and Dragons games, they'll always bring up, Baldur's Gate. Usually they don't even remember anything else. It's just Baldur's Gate, and it's like, dude, Baldur's Gate was where it began. But with Icewind Dale, this is the closest thing you can get to a normal Dungeons and Dragons campaign. I mean, where they allow you to make your team. There's a little bit of a dungeon master creativity there where you can. It's like, and don't get me wrong. I mean, the game does actually give you 6 characters if you want to just play right now and not worry about anything. Sure, but then again, you don't know if those characters are good enough. You might need. There's something that you need to tailor to your own style with playing this stuff, because this can go wrong very quick. I gotta let you know, this particular playthrough was not entirely successful. To quote, Dracula, it was not entirely successful. And then Kenny Reeves goes, "Oh yes, you noob!" And then he grabs a sword and nearly kills him. Yeah, I remember that. That's how it happened too. Kenny Reeves went, "You noob! Your ancestors shock at combat." And then Dracula nearly decapitated him. And Kenny Reeves is like, I'm sorry. My banter was just too much. Yeah, I'm sorry. My bants were just too much for you. I see, Mr. Dracula, you're very felted. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. It's really funny, Frater. Like you, like, yeah, that movie. You really love that movie. Like Oh, I even had a dream last night where I quoted something from Dracula. I quoted from Coppola's Dracula. I quoted like uh, the city and its institutions and its death. Like it's funny how I quote things from that movie. Like I think the reason I liked it so much is because Coppola combined some elements from the original Bela Lugosi Dracula. Like he brought back all all the things and stuff. And but as I get older, Frater, you're not that old. You're only like what, 30? Yeah, I guess, yeah. Or for what? Oh, nothing. But basically, I've come to the conclusion that I only like the Bela Lugosi Dracula now. Like, I like the Coppola Dracula, but I have come to the conclusion I only like the Bela Lugosi one because, like, that was perfect. Like, I felt everything about him made that character like come out. Like, if it had been another actor, where I don't know, maybe Dracula wouldn't have became as big as a thing as far as movies if he didn't have the right actor. Oh, it's a big deal, Frater. Bela Lugosi nailed it down. My problem was that's all he nailed down. He nailed that down, and everyone else just went, "Oh, it's Dracula." That was the only downside. It was too good because he was Romanian himself, so it was all perfect. But the only problem was it screwed him over when it came to being an actor with different, I apologize. We're not talking about the game, but I'm sorry to say here, man, but it's just there isn't really much to say here. I think that first 12 minutes nailed down. I really nailed down everything, and like I mentioned about Bela Lugosi, and really the truth is that what I would like to have done if I had the money, and I had the team to do it, would be to create like an open world Castlevania, and I would be more like an Elder Scrolls game, but for Dracula you would have the Bela Lugosi estate, and you could maybe and then you can incorporate his all the old Bela Lugosi, or you mean like use a computer to simulate him. And so then what happens is you're in this world, and you have to deal with all the shenanigans that Dracula's doing. But at the same time, like, it's kind of like the way I best see it is Dracula would be kind of like the dungeon master. He would be like the one who's like creating all these situations for you. Like there may be a boss you got to deal with, and it's because he's actually working for Dracula. So that's actually, you can really make a really long 100-hour type game, and I know most people would be like, well, is it, well, it takes like almost like the amount of money to make a modern video game. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Oh yeah, there are indie games that are good too, but well, as long as they don't try to do the retro thing, that's where I like it when they at least try to make a modern game. But it takes a lot of money because you start to get into 3D processing, and you start to, yep. You're still working on those abilities, and they're like, yeah, still working on all those abilities. Gregory Peck. That's Mr. Peck. Okay, Mr. Peck. I like when what I like is when I say Mr. Peck, and you have to correct me in that no, that's Mr. Peck. You're like, is actually a way to say it? Yes, it's Mr. Peck. You gotta say it with gusto. Yeah, that's like a catchphrase right there. I mean, you need a profit on that one. I do need a profit on that one. Oh, so we are working on I forgot who I'm working on. I think I'm working on Peter Graves right now. Well, that takes some work there. Now I'm gonna talk about some errors I made in this playthrough. And I know you're gonna go, you're not playing it live. Well, the advantage of sometimes when people aren't really watching you is like you could kind of make your own rules, and you don't get called out on it. Yeah, you don't get called out because You just no one there to be called to do any calling. Yeah, exactly. Now, right now, I'm having him do some being like a cleric and a priest here, just try to you know cure light wounds and stuff like that, which is you know the problem is look, I'm not gonna lie to you. You've really got to go fighter heavy on your team. You really got to have like about 4 fighters because there's going to be moments later on where you're just so swamped and you do not want too many weak characters because you're going to have to protect them. And if you have more weak than strong, the strong characters are going to have to be able to hit as hard as possible so that they can get to the enemies that are about ready to attack the weak characters and wipe them off the face of the map. So yeah, so that's so what you're gonna notice is in this playthrough is this playthrough goes absolutely wrong. It goes absolutely wrong to the point that Lily, no matter what I tried to do, I could not make this party work. So I had to pretty much recreate this group here and make them mostly fighters, except for 2 characters in the back. Like I had Billy and Glenn, and Billy, I made who are those 2 guys? Like are these just characters you made up? Yeah. They're just 2 characters I made up. Oh, that's kind of neat. They're kind of like Bill and Ted or something like that. Okay. I just was just showing you met along the way or something. No. Oh, okay. Uh, it's just so far, between last year 2010 and 2011, I've never met anyone named Billy and Glenn, and I assumed you haven't either. I hang out by Elmer's Tainted Horse Meat Snack Shack of Crackton, Ohio, and I've seen a lot of people come in and out, and I don't remember no Billies and Glens. Yeah, that's right. Yep, like I said, this is probably about as close as you're going to get to Dungeons and Dragons. This is probably, I mean, I know a lot of people could say, well, there's a lot of gold box games and stuff, and there is, but this game, it just sort of nails it, does it just right. Just gets it all right, and that's about it. Fortunately, we still got a lot of time here. Yeah, we still got a lot of time here. By the way, one mistake I made is I think I made your character into a ranger, and it's because you think of the Lord of the Rings. You think of Aragon, and you're like, well, rangers kick ass, and it's like, well, good with archery, but and they have some definite skills. They're not fighters, and I'm just telling you, a you need to have a pack. You need to have a pack up front that can just thump down on that front line, and then you maybe have 2 people in the back or 3 that can at least provide some archery assistance or sling assistance. Yeah, just throwing those strings. Well, the reality is mages in 2nd edition suffer because it takes them longer before they start to get more powerful, and so they need to have a sling to throw at the monsters and be able to actually be effective, because otherwise they're going to grab a quarterstaff and they're going to try to actually fight the thing one-on-one, and that's bad. So and that's the thing you'll start to see in this game. You'll start to mess around with scripts, and this is probably my top 5. Like if I was actually forced to make a top 5, but well, you mentioned the trials, but you didn't mention this, because The trials is based on 100% skill. This is not 100% skill because Dungeons and Dragons is based on luck. It's based on RNG. There is a lot of things you can control if you know how to set up your character, about how what skills you pick, what advantages. Like for example, I if you pick a fighter instead of a monk, that's going somewhere. Monks are generally terrible, and I mean, don't get me wrong. Baldur's Gate, everyone loved that one character who has the mouse, and he's a monk, but a lot of people are willing to put up with it because he's funny, and probably the funniest character in the game. Him and Boo. Actually, he fortunately he needs that mage girl. He wants her to stay in the group, and unfortunately, she's so weak. And it's like I said, you need to have you have to have fighters, or you have to have you. It's for I don't know. When it comes to Baldur's Gate, like I don't even really go mage, but in this case, this game, like I like the idea of trying to keep the classic four, sort of like what you see in Gauntlet and Dungeons and Dragons. One's a fighter, one's a rogue, one's a mage, one's like a Valkyrie or something like that. But usually you always generally do have two fighters because you need to have that mix, that can part of the reason why in second edition that four usually fails is because the mage, if he's a level 1 mage, he's just barely able to do anything. And actually, the more I learn, second edition and first edition, a pure thief is totally worthless. I mean, I know, for example, with Billy, there was a point where with Billy, I kind of struggled with him a bit because I made him into a pure thief because I mean, yeah, he could do the long distance archery and stuff, and that's good, but I usually way his script is, I have to set him up as a pure thief, and then that means he's looking out for traps and stuff, so that he's doing that stuff, and that's important in this game because this game is going to throw traps at you like so much. But that's how it is. Yeah, that is how it is. So you're just picking the mage book stuff. Yeah, and mentioned, a pure mage does not have a great deal of choice here. A mage has very little choice. He's got one spell per level, and that's that's brutal. That's very brutal. And I see it once again. You're getting into your color coordination there. It's like, dude, it doesn't matter. You can have them all be pink. It doesn't matter because you're gonna replace that equipment or something else. Yeah, that's true. And you gotta pick the right voice, or you're gonna hear the most annoying voice the whole time. And oh man, gosh, gotcha. Yeah, that's a character. Huh. Actually, with this playthrough, I'm sorry. I said mentioned Billy and Glenn, and actually with this run, I made two characters called Sean Connery and Old Man Gus. And I always used to put Sean Connery in groups like this all the time. I used to think that Yeah. Wow, he's the ultimate hero. He's like, yeah, yeah. And old man Gus is just a silly old wizard. Unfortunately,